All right, so y'all go ahead and do the factoring and the math knowledge question for today. Pause the video, and then once everyone is finished, you can unpause the video and I'll go over the correct answers. So for this factoring, you want to start off by removing the 100. And so we're going to have x squared plus 180x plus 8,100. The two numbers that you're going to want to use are going to be 90. And so we make sure to replace our 100 in front of our x. We're going to have plus 90, and then 100x plus 90. And then both of these will reduce to 10x plus 9 and 10x plus 9, which we can write as 10x plus 9 squared. Okay? For the math knowledge question, if x equals -1, then we're just going to plug in a if x equals -4, we're just going to plug in a -4 into the terms. So we have -4 squared minus 1, so 16 minus 1 is 15. And then -4 plus 1 is -3, and so that's going to be -5, which is A. So that's the answer for your math knowledge question. So we're looking at lesson 79 today, angles exterior to circles. So hopefully after this lesson you'll understand angles exterior to circles. So the exterior of a circle is the set of all points that is outside of the circle. So all of the points that are on the outside of the circle. And an exterior angle has its vertex outside of the circle. So if we have a circle, an exterior angle, there's one, or there's one. The angle is on the outside of the circle. So looking at theorem 79.1, the measure of an angle whose vertex is outside of a circle is equal to half the difference of the intercepted arcs. So we have the vertex outside of a circle for angle A, and the way that we are going to find the measure of angle A, this intercepted arc here and this intercepted arc here, we take the difference of those. So you're going to do arc CE minus arc BD, and then you're going to take half of that, or divide by 2. And so that would give you the measure of angle A. That formula right there. So let's look at an example. They tell us that the measure of angle NOP is 20 degrees. And we want to find arc PN, the measure of arc PN. So we're going to use our formula. We're going to say this intercepted arc minus this one, divide by 2, gives us our angle. So 110 minus arc PN, and if we divide it by 2, we're going to get 20 degrees. So we can multiply both sides by 2, and we'll have 110 minus arc PN equals 40. And so if you subtract 110, you'll have negative arc PN equals -70. So that means that arc PN will equal a positive 70 degrees. And so that would be your answer for that question. Let's look at the next example. It has 3 different pictures. We want to find the measure of angle A in the first one. So we're going to take our 2 intercepted arcs, subtract them, and divide by 2 to get our angle. So 56 minus 18, and then you divide that by 2. And so your measure for angle A, you're going to have 38 over 2, which is 19 degrees. Okay? For G, we're looking for this angle here. They tell us that this big major arc, this one around here, is 292 degrees. And then they don't tell us what this arc here is. But if we know that a circle is 360 degrees, how can we figure out this angle? This arc here is going to be 360 minus 292, which is going to be 58 degrees. So this blue part is 58 degrees. So to find the measure of angle G, we would do 292 minus 58 and then divide by 2. And so if you subtract, I'm sorry, that's not going to be 58 degrees. That's going to be 60. And so if you subtract, you would get 224 over 2. And so if you divide that out, you'll get 112 degrees for angle G. Okay, looking at the next one, they tell us that this part of our circle is 166, and then this part here is 74. Since we're looking for angle B, we need to know this arc and this arc. So again, we know these two pieces of our circle, and so this third piece, we're just going to have to figure out what 360 minus 166 minus 74 is. And so that's going to give you 120. And so now we're going to say 120 minus 74 and divide by 2. And so if you subtract those, you're going to get 46 divide by 2, and that's 23 degrees. Okay, so that's how you would work that one. Looking at the next example, we have an eclipse that covers an arc of a planet in the moon's shadow, as shown in the diagram, and we want to solve for x. Well, this little moon here is actually irrelevant because we can use this big circle for the planet. We don't even need the moon. We're looking for this angle here, so we're going to do the difference of the intercepted arcs. If this arc is 142, then the other part of it is going to have to be 218. And so to solve for x, we're going to do 218 minus 142 and then divide that by 2. And so if you do that, you're going to have 76 divided by 2. And so that's going to be 38 degrees. And so that would be your answer there. Okay, so now let's look at the practice problems. So y'all pause the video and try these, and then unpause the video and I'll show you the correct answers. So we want to find the measure of angle P here. So that's this one right here. So they tell us that this arc is 95. So we want to find the rest of the circle. So we would say 360 minus 95. And so that's going to give you 265. And so then we're going to do 265 minus 95 and then divide by 2. And so if you do that, you should get 85 degrees. Okay, looking at the next one, we want to find the measure of angle 1. So angle 1 is this part of the angle right here. And so we're going to say 154 minus 88 and then divide by 2. And so 154 minus 88 is 66, and if you divide that by 2, you're going to get 33 degrees. Okay, for D, we're going to find the measure of angle 2. So that is this whole part here. So there are two ways that you can do it. You can either remember that this angle here that I'm going to draw in red, this part of the angle is 33, and then you need to find this green part of the angle here, or you can find the whole big angle too. I'm going to first, either way, have to figure out what this arc here is. And so we know that those 4 arcs have to add up to 360 because it's a circle. So we're going to have 360 minus 88 minus 154 and minus 64. And so that gives us 54 degrees for this arc AD. And so this green part of the angle, you would say 64 minus 54, that's 10, and divide by 2, that would give you 5. And so if this part is 5 and this whole other part is 33, then angle 2 equals 38. Or you could add 154 and 64, and you could add 54 and 88. Subtract those two numbers and divide by 2. Either way, you'll get the same answer, 38 degrees. Looking at the next example, or practice problem, see if you can solve this one, and then I'll go over it for you. So you're going to say 360 minus 154 is 206. We've got our circle here, and this part is 154, and this one is 206. So if we're solving for this angle, 206 minus 154 is 52, and then if you divide that by 2, you get 26 degrees. And so that would be your answer for that practice problem. Okay, so now we're going to look at the challenge question. It says assume that angle VUY is 26 degrees and that the measure of angle TUY is 82. And it wants us to find the measure of arc TV. And it wants you to explain your answer. So y'all try that one, and then after y'all think you've got it, or if you're completely stuck and you can't figure it out, then unpause the video and I'll show you how to work it. All right, so we are given that VUY is 26. So that's this arc right here. That is a 26 degree angle. And then we're given that TUY is 82. So that's the whole thing. The whole part is 82 degrees. And so this other side, if this part is 26, then this other part, you would just say 82 minus 26, and so it would be 56. All right, so we are looking for this arc TV right here. And so we're going to say 136 minus arc TV, and then divide by 2 is going to give us the 56 degrees, because that's the angle that's on the exterior of the circle. So 56 times 2 is 112, equals 136 minus arc TV. And so if you solve for arc TV, you're going to get 24 degrees. And so that would be your answer there. So hopefully some of y'all figured that out. If so, good job. So your homework is problem set 79. You need to make sure to do that tonight and then turn it in tomorrow, and we'll go over any questions that you